Governance is the tool to have trust. You can only get the money if you have trust. That's it.
Actually, I believe it's a very simple word, which is alignment. It's very easy to get alignment in peaceful, good day. But it's really challenging and difficult to get alignment in the tough day, rainy, bad day.
Alignment is very hard to understand.
Actually, governance, which is something so far in Vietnam, is not yet put a lot of attention into. So I really want to ask further in terms of your perspective, because as a PE fund, you also invest in a lot of mature company with more structure, governance structure as well. So definitely you might have more insight to share with us why governance play an important role that still very few founder not yet put enough attention into. So far, it's still just considered as an extra admin work rather than something that's really strategic, important matter, and how founders should pay more attention into, which may effectively deploy the governance structure into the startup even in early days.
Governance is a factor of leadership. Leadership is all about, leading the movement in a synchronization manner. Governance is a tool to ensure, the synchronization stuff. Let me tell you a blunt sentence like this. Capital raising is all about storytelling and trust building. And investment is all about buying that story and gaining the trust against you. Is there something in common in between of a capital raising effort and the investing effort? That is trust. And governance is the tool to have trust. So if you have a governance system in place, you are building trust and you are sending that trust to the investor. And money is physically, right? It's one of the things that is hardest to get in this life, right? Everyone needs money. Everyone wants money. Everyone is dying for money. And you can only get the money if you have trust. That's it. Build trust, and the rest will come. It's not just governance, right? It comes from the business model. It comes from, whether or not you can tell the story good enough. You are having a team there, stuff like that. But governance is something that's very important.
You said a really good point in terms of actually trust should consider as a tool to access the capital, the money. To be trust, we need a governance structure in place. And I just would like to get back to my previous question in terms of from early stage, because as you know, a lot of startup founders sitting here, they are early stage. We want to deploy governance structure in place, but as an early stage startup, we lack of a lot of resource. The lack of time as well. Maybe the runway is still very much limited, right? We lack a lot of essential resources and conditions to really deploy a governance structure in place. What is the most practical way for early stage startup in such limited resource they can deploy a governance structure easily and efficiently, and starting with that?
Well, that's a tough question.
I believe that's a very challenging question.
Because if there is an answer, then we are not having to deal with all of those difficulties and all. I think that investors are also very practical. They don't ask you to have oracle, to be in place. It is the will and the mindset more than the actual system and the process that you have already had in place, or the amount of money that you need to spend. You come to a bank, and I don't think that the bank is doing diligence on your assets. They are valuing the ability and the willingness to repay. It happened the same way with investor, right? As long as you send them a message that like, we are not 100% perfect, but we are moving there. If you don't have a proper system in place, but you already started with whatever you own. That's enough. And then investor would help you to bring the level of your current corporate governance to a higher level.
Actually, inviting you today, coming with us this workshop today, I also received a huge motivation, inspiration from the Purpose of It workshop. We talk a lot about the practical roadmap for startup in Vietnam to achieve IPO in Vietnam, and one of the key words came out, which is a governance structure. And along the way, when the startup grow, right, from early stage to the mature stage, and PE fund, actually like ABB private equity, they also play a very important role to support startup and companies to equip with more governance structure in place so that the company can more mature in terms of organizational structure. You just share about the trust between founder, startup, and investor. I have the keyword of synchronization as well. So actually, I believe it's a very simple word, which is alignment, investor and founder alignment along the way. It's very easy to get alignment in peaceful and good day, but it's really challenging and difficult to get alignment in the tough day, rainy, bad day. Do you have any practical advice here that founder can really work with investor proactively and effectively to build alignment, especially in the case of expectation, ambition to grow, but at the same time we need to manage a very disciplined growth in the sustainable growth roadmap for the company as well. Do you have any experience, lesson learned so far? You faced such kind of challenging situation to align between the founders and investor on the bad days?
I think alignment is very hard to understand, very hard to capture the whole meaning of it. From the very beginning, right, when startups come to a VC, when an SME comes to a private equity firm, the level of understanding from both parties are not in the same level. Private equity, for instance, right, we have the room to do due diligence. Whenever we need someone, whenever we have questions, we send emails to you, or we ask you to go out for coffee, stuff like that. We ask you about your wife, we ask you about your children, what school you are sending your children to, what school you have graduated from. Absolutely nothing about us. All of the startups and companies, you are doing deals. Like, I need money. I'm going to build a factory next year. So I need to go to the capital market and I need to make deal. No. In so many meetings, I keep telling people, please don't make deal, because you are putting yourself in a weak bargaining power, in a weak positions to talk to people, right? Instead of make deals, make plans. If you have a plan, right, instead of like going to the market next year, start now. When you still have some runway, in your cash flow and stuff like that. When you still have time to absorb who you are talking to. For instance, so we closed the fund in 2024, and funds have its own fund life, right? So normally it is 10 plus 2 years, which means that I still have like 8 plus 2 years runway in investing. So for example, if I invest in fund money of the gentleman, if things is good, I can exit easily within 3 years. Things go wrong, I can drag it out 5 years, 7 years, 8 years. Just imagine if I am in the 6 years or 7 years of my fund. So right after I invested, the first thing that I'm going to tell this guy is that, hey, let's plan for the IPO next year. And I have the right to do that. He's not in the position to argue that with me, right? And then, his whole business model, strategy, everything has to shift. and then you have to work for me, for our goal. My investment thesis would be very different from VIG, would be very different from Mekong Capital, which is very different from Vina Capital. And I'm sure that when you come to the capital markets, they are just all the same. They have money and they only different in terms of the pricing that they are paying you, right? If you want to talk about alignment, is that you need to understand the funds, the people, your partner. The second thing is that don't put yourself in the position of a weaker bargaining power oppositions. Right? It's like playing chess, right? So the one with higher power will push you, and that is us. You need to create your own position. You win on power by taking out the enemy's chess, or you win by positions. If you can do both, that's great. When I moved from VIG to Crescent Point, so at present we do a large deal, for example, 100 million US dollars. Crescent's now part of Iris Management, and Iris Management is, just announced closing a deal in Vietnam, 150 million US dollars. The bargaining power of those, leading firms are completely different. And to understand, right, there's a very good saying of some of the sales companies have taught us, buy, 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 right? So you have to be friends, you have to talk to them, and then you understand what they can bring to you.
I see. Thank you so much, Anne, for sharing that point. I believe that in short, KYI, know your investor, know the
Yeah.
fund you are talking with, and also try your best to establish a strong bargaining power position to talk with investor. I just would like to learn much better in terms of from PE fund perspective to help the company to achieve the exit attractiveness and also great long-term valuation and position of the company in the market. What is needed to build a strong organizational structure within the company to support that goal? Everyone talk a lot about the growth, but let's just focus on organization structure, which a lot of companies in Vietnam still lack of.
Exit has to go with alignment. You need to know the audience of the exit your partner is looking at the time of investment. So, for example, funds always, talk with founders like, hey, look, within 3 to 5 years down the road, I'm going to sell you to this group, that group, or, I'm going to force you to do the IPO. Buyers, they have a very clear view on who's they are, selling the asset to. It is very important for the companies to talk to the investors. Right? Who are you going to exit to? Alignment is not just about pricing. It's not just about benefit sharing. But it's also about building an organization that fits with the next buyer. When we do a couple of deals, we told them that I'm going to exit you to a strategic buyer from Japan, for instance. So we together build the organizations towards that, buyer. So if they look for growth, we build the whole organization for growth. If they look to have just a door to enter Vietnam, then it is something else. It really depends on who we are thinking that we would sell to. So we are selling what the market needs. We are not selling what we have. We are building specifically what we think, or we believe, or we prove by a way that the next buyer is in need of. KYB, know your buyer. Understand the expectation in advance
and try to design the organizational structure that align with such expectation for either for growth, either for market expansion in Vietnam, or either for acquisition in terms of the team. But I just would like to learn further in terms of understanding that every buyer would have very much different expectation. So we need to design a very customized organizational structure to align with that expectation, right? What is the commonality in the organizational factors that companies in Vietnam can be more attractive for any potential buyer to increase the exit attractiveness?
I think in the past 2 decades, international buyers are buying the growth story of Vietnam. And growth stories come with market coverage. And market coverage comes with, the ability to build up an efficient distribution network. And the effective distribution network comes with an effective system of moving goods and capturing value. Whenever an organization has that aspect, it is sellable to strategic buyer. I don't think that they need you to be very advanced in terms of having a good ERP system or stuff like that, because those are the things that they can bring over from the headquarters. But the distribution capability is something they don't have it. That is the whole purpose of business that is sellable to a strategic. The people, the system, the process have to be designed for that.